Hello everybody, Gliderman here. So today we're back with our character, and now we're going to be putting on some weight painting for our guy here. So this is what our character is currently looking like, and we're just going to pop back to this solid view or whatever. You can see the skeleton here, and we're going to right click on the body so that it has the bright orange outline here. And then we're going to hold shift and then right click on the skeleton. And actually, I think I need to turn on screencast keys. There we go. Now you can see what I'm pressing. So let's just redo that. So we just right click onto the character body, and then we shift right click onto the skeleton here. Now we're going to do Control P, and you're going to see this menu pop up. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an armature deform with automatic weights. And that'll take it a moment to process. And you won't see anything that happened. Except, now let's just switch the armature into pose mode so that, we can bend things around and that kind of stuff. And let's right click on the character, and we'll move that into weight paint mode. And now you can see what the automatic weight paint has done. So let's just start out here with like the hand. So you can see it's already selected everything out there, and you can see it's automatically fading away, and we can see how they're fading between each other by selecting those two. So if we just double tap R, we can bend it around as if our mouse was that, like, in front of that point. And so you can see that's bending actually pretty well. Now let's select this one and see how that looks. So if we just double tap R, you can see that's actually bending around quite a bit of the body. I kind of like that. You may not. In which case, it would be pretty simple to go into, well, actually not even need to go into. You can just adjust the weight paint by going from the blend mode, add, or mix, or whatever it defaults to, and go to subtract. And then you can just simply paint around here and saying, I don't want that much done to it. So you can just paint around, and in this case, I'm removing 0.25. So let's just keep going around, and then right about to here. And let's just see how that looks. So if we just double tap R, so you can see that's moving much less of the body. However, I kind of don't want that. I kind of like the large amount of movement that the body has with that arm, because, it's kind of stubby and kind of endearing in that way. So we've got that arm there, and let's see how that compares to the other side. That looks pretty even. Let's jump into front view by pressing numpad 1 for a little bit of a better comparison. Okay, so that looks reasonably good. We can do Control 1 to check the back, and that looks fine as well. So this one again is bending it around. The eye is bending the body around a little bit, but that's kind of okay. I mean, there isn't much head movement aside from the eye. We've got that arm, which looks good. And of course, because this one, ooh, wow, that's quite a bit of weight paint that is automatically applied. If we bend this around, you can see everything above it is moving properly, because, they're parented to that bone. So that looks actually pretty good. So let's just leave it like that and see if there's any creases. Actually, that's a pretty good crease. So we'll just do Alt-R to reset that rotation. We'll check the belly bone, I think is what I called this one. We'll just double tap R. That seems pretty good there. And then we'll move on to the legs. And actually, what I'll do is I'll get rid of that ground plane. Oop, that. We want the first layer. There we go. So let's click on that one, or right click on that one. That one seems to be moving around pretty good. And that seems to be moving pretty good as well. This one seems good. And this one seems good. now let's check these. And I know this one will be a little bit harder to check because, you know, it moves everything anyway. But overall it looks like it isn't selecting anything. I don't see any noticeable bright spots where it's, or closer to red spots where it's actually grabbed on. This one, yeah, I was kind of expecting that to grab on there. So it looks like this one's actually missing a portion out of the back, which is actually part of this core bone. However, let's see what the vertex groups can do and see if we can possibly adjust anything here. So it looks like we've got the belly and then we've got the core there. I don't believe that we can actually combine the two there, so I think I'm fine with just leaving it there. However, if you wanted to, perhaps you could remove the weight paint from here. So simply just crank up the strength to 1 here, set it to the blend mode to subtract, and then if you went like to the back and then you started going, maybe like with the brush being a little bit higher, just painting back here to remove it from the core, and then trying to evenly paint it in the missing location with the belly bone there. However, I'm not going to be doing that because it looks to be doing perfectly fine as is. So that looks pretty good. Let's just leave that at pose mode there, and let's just set it into this, you know, somewhat wonky position, or maybe we can make it waving. So if we just bend that up like that, and then bend that up like that, and then where's the camera? Okay, the camera definitely needs to move, so let's do that. So if we just center that right about there, and then rotate it to there, and then we did Control 0. Okay, maybe a little bit further back, but yeah, there we go. So now we've got the camera there, and let's just say we were dropping the arm down to its side just a little bit. Something like that, and then, you know, just rotating the leg. Something like that, and then rotating the body back or forward or whatever. And then if we just point the eye at the camera, right about there, looks pretty good. So let's just pop into rendered viewport and make sure to put in the ground so that reflections look proper. Well, there's our somewhat of a lump of a character, but that's how we do automatic weight painting. And then, you know, I was discussing a little bit with you guys how we can possibly adjust, like with that core bone, the different painting in on the bottom there. The tricky part of that is trying to get it smooth, and that can be very, very tricky. Hence why I prefer to use the automatic weights, because that does a very smooth paint, and probably a much better job of that than really we could really ever pull off by ourselves. So anyway, we still got our character all weight painted. I'm just going to select everything and then do Alt R to reset the rotation there. So now we've got our character created, materials assigned, rigged, and weight painted. And now we're going to be working on the inverse kinematics portion in the next episode. So if you want to be notified the instant that episode comes out, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!